Hi, my first grade friends. Happy asynchronous day afternoon. Happy Thursday. So, like I said in my little calendar video, today is going to be a little different because of parent-teacher conferences. I'm excited to meet your parents on the computer face to face and not just, them walking in the background or something, and get to talk to them exactly what we're learning in class and how you're doing. It'll be an awesome time. I can't wait to meet them. But while I'm doing that, I have some afternoon activities for you to do. So what I did in class today with the other kiddos and what we would have done this afternoon is we are going to do a little writing activity that has to do with our journeys. So this week on Journeys, or should I say this week on Journeys, we have been talking about who we can meet in a neighborhood and what there is in our neighborhood. And so I have a read aloud today called Franklin's Neighborhood, and I'm going to read that to you, and then we'll do a little writing activity. So real quick, let's go over this week's On Journeys little presentation. So this week on Journeys, my question, as I said, was who can you meet in a neighborhood? We already read Lucia's neighborhood, and we learned that there's community helpers like firefighters and policemen, and there's special places you can go like a park or a store. Those are special people and places in her neighborhood. Well, we also talked about how when we look at words and photos in a book, it can tell us more about what we're learning, especially if it's an informational story, informational text, like Lucia's neighborhood. So we also had our 6 words of the week. I'll take a second to read them in my head. See if you can read them to yourself. Let's see if you know the 6 words. They are, let me see if I can get my mouse over there. You go. My, here, who, all, does, and me. Those are the 6 words of the week that we've been looking for, and we've also been doing a lot of adjective practice. Make sure you're trying to use adjectives in your stories or your writing. Like today, we'll be writing after we read the book, so see if you can make some adjectives fit into whatever you're writing. Okay, let's get started reading our story. So today's story is Franklin's Neighborhood. Maybe you know Franklin the Turtle. He is a character that I actually grew up with. He does have a TV show, though I don't think it's running anymore, but you've probably seen it on PBS. So Franklin's Neighborhood, he has a little homework assignment about his neighborhood, just like how you've been working on neighborhoods in our class this week. And he's having trouble finding what his favorite part of the neighborhood is that he wants to work on. And we're going to see how he solves that problem and what he learns about his neighborhood. So this is Franklin's Neighborhood. Franklin could count to 10 and back again and say the alphabet without stopping. He liked drawing pictures and he loved show and tell. So when Mr. Owl assigned the first project of the year, Franklin was ready. We live in a neighborhood, explained Mr. Owl, and our neighborhood is made up of houses and stores and gardens, said Snail. And a hospital, added Badger. Exactly, said Mr. Owl. Now, for tomorrow, I want each of you to draw a picture of what you like best about our neighborhood. What do you like best? Asked Franklin. Mr. Owl thought for a moment. The school, he replied. Everyone laughed. Of course, the teacher loves school. When Franklin got home, he hurried to his room. Do you want a snack? Asked his mother. No, thanks, said Franklin. I have a project to do. Franklin took out his crayons and some paper, and then he sat down to think. He thought about the ice cream store, then the bicycle trail, and then the soccer field. Franklin sighed. Choosing the best thing about his neighborhood was not going to be easy. Hey, look, he has a little toy that looks just like him. Franklin wanted to find his mother. "Could I have that snack now, please?" he asked. "I think my brain is hungry." But after 3 fly cookies and 2 glasses of milk, Franklin still hadn't decided what he liked best. Ugh, well, I definitely don't like fly cookies the best, though it seems like he puts them in as if they're chocolate chips, which is funny. "Why don't you go for a walk around the neighborhood?" suggested his mother. "That might help," said Franklin. He got his paper and crayons and off he went. It's hard to pick a favorite sometimes. Franklin met Beaver in the meadow. "I finished my project," Beaver announced. "I picked the library, and I went there right after school to draw my picture." Franklin thought about story time with Mrs. Goose, the librarian. "Well, that's a good idea," Franklin said. "Maybe that's what I'll draw." He waved goodbye and headed for the library. Franklin was sitting on the library steps when Fox came by. "Have you finished your project?" asked Fox. Franklin shook his head. "I was going to draw the library, but on the way here I saw the movie theater. I can't make up my mind." "I chose the fire station," said Fox. Franklin remembered the time that Chief Wolf let him sit in the fire truck. "That's a good idea," Franklin said. "Maybe that's what I'll draw." He collected his paper and crayons and set off. So it's funny because he's getting to explore his neighborhood and see all the things he likes. So it's nice because we're visiting all these special places. We're seeing community helpers. We're going to special places like the school or the library. Let's see where else he goes. Franklin was outside the fire station when he saw Moose. "Have you finished your project?" asked Moose. "No," Franklin sighed. "I was going to draw the fire station, but on the way here I saw other places I like just as much." "I like the pond best of all." Franklin thought about swimming and skating with his friends. "That's a good idea," Franklin answered. "Maybe that's what I'll draw." He said goodbye and headed for the pond. Franklin was staring at the water when Bear came along. "What's the matter?" asked Bear. "I can't decide what to draw for my project," said Franklin. "I like too many things." "My best place is the berry patch," said Bear. Franklin thought about all the times he and Bear had picked berries together. "See?" said Franklin. "Another great idea." "What about the park?" Bear suggested. Franklin thought about playing with his friends on the swings and slide. "That's it," declared Franklin. He said goodbye to Bear and hurried off. Franklin's mother found him sitting along on a teeter-totter. "Did the walk help?" she asked. "Not really," replied Franklin. "There are so many great things in our neighborhood." Franklin's mother gave him a hug. "Let's go home and talk." She said, "I made your favorite supper." Franklin grinned. "At least I know what that is." I'm afraid of what it is. Franklin felt a bit better after broccoli soup and fly pie. Not exactly my favorite. "I'm ready to think again," he said. And then he asked his parents what they liked best about the neighborhood. "I like the farmer's market on Saturday mornings," said his mother. Franklin smiled. He loved Farmer Rabbit's sweet peas and Farmer Squirrel's fly brownies. "I like belonging to my chess club," said his father. Franklin agreed. He liked belonging to the chess club too. Ooh, chess is a fun game. Franklin remembered something. Is it true that Mr. Heron is moving away?" he asked. Mr. Heron was the president of the chess club. "Yes, it's true," replied Franklin's father. "I'm going to miss him very much. This neighborhood won't be the same without him." Ooh, I'm starting to think of what Franklin's going to write. Franklin nodded. He was going to miss Mr. Heron too. Suddenly, Franklin knew what he wanted to draw. I know what I like best, he said. Franklin ran to his room and started working. I wonder what he's thinking. At the school the next day, everyone was excited. It was time to see their projects. Raccoon went first. I drew the river, he said. I drew the forest, said Hawk. Finally, it was Franklin's turn. He unrolled a huge sheet of paper. It was covered with drawings of almost everyone that Franklin knew. I don't get it, said Beaver. Franklin smiled. I drew my neighbors, he said. That's what I like best about my neighborhood. The end. Oh, I love that. So instead of a thing in his neighborhood, like a noun, a place, he chose people who he liked in his neighborhood. He drew his friends, his families, and all the people, like the community helpers, and even Mr. Heron, who was moving away. I hope you enjoyed listening to Franklin's Neighborhood. Now, what I want you to do is take out your writer's notebook to see what your activity is for. Okay, so your activity for today, you need your writer's notebook. And what you're going to do is exactly what Franklin had to do. You're going to write about and draw what your favorite thing is in your neighborhood. If you can't think of something either, you can just write what your neighborhood has. So does your neighborhood have a food store? Does it have a park? You can either tell us your favorite thing, like how some of them said their favorite thing was the pond or the playground or the movie theater. If you have a favorite thing, tell us about it. But if you can't think of something, just like how Franklin couldn't, you can write about all the things in your neighborhood because that's describing your neighborhood. Ooh, interesting. I'm going to write about my neighborhood. Now, I don't live in Mount Laurel. I live in a place called Pennsauken, which is nearby here. So it's a little further away, but it's close enough that I'm going to write about my neighborhood because that's right where I live. So let me show you how to write about your neighborhood. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up to a brand new page in my notebook. And when I do that, I can start my story either however I want, or I could maybe start with a very clear, maybe topic sentence. So you could say my neighborhood has and start telling us what it has, or in my neighborhood, there is this, 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 and this. Or you could say my favorite, we know how to spell favorite now, we use that a lot. My favorite part of now here's how you write neighborhood. I could always look here at Franklin's book and write it, or you can watch how I write it. You can always ask an adult too, because it's spelled a little silly. My neighbor, and then hood, H-O-O-D. My favorite part of my neighborhood is the flower, the flower, G-R-R-D-N. The flower is the flower garden by the town. Wow, a lot of digraphs in that word. Church, period. Right, so I like to go for a lot of walks around my neighborhood because the trees are so pretty and people have a lot of nice decorations on their house this time of year. But there's a nearby church and they have this pretty flower garden. Let's see if I could describe it. There are a lot of pretty flowers. And I could say, I like the yellow flowers the most. Nice. So I didn't go too crazy writing about my neighborhood, but I did say my favorite part is the flower garden by the nearby church, by the town's church. So then I could draw my neighborhood. So here I'll draw the sidewalk that I walk on. Here's the grass. Oh, and I'll draw the church that's nearby. It has some nice pretty windows. And maybe I could color with different colors. And here's their flower garden, so it's really pretty. Now I might just have to draw a bunch of flowers because there's all different types. And then I could color it. My favorite are yellow flowers. Do you have a favorite flower? Do you have maybe a favorite color flower or a favorite type of flower? Because there's all different types of flowers. I like hyacinths probably the most. They're really pretty. I like the yellow ones, but I think I like the pink ones the most for those. But they don't have them at the church, so that's fine. So I would keep drawing, and then you can color your favorite part of your neighborhood too. It even has some trees. I love the trees. Maybe you can draw the trees in the fall. Oh, I guess there's not many flowers in the fall, huh? Well, here's my neighborhood. What you're going to do, just like I did, is open up to a new paper, and either say your favorite part or what's in your neighborhood. So if you're doing that, you could say, in my neighborhood, there is this. Or you could say, my neighborhood has, and then tell us what it has, right? And see if you can use adjectives. It has a green park, or it has a brick library, whatever you want. I can't wait to see what your favorite part of your town is here. I drive through this town a lot when I come and visit all of you. So I like to see what you like about your town. That's it for our afternoon class. I hope you enjoyed reading about Franklin's neighborhood and get started on your writer's notebook. Normally we share on Thursdays, so I'm not going to get to see what you're sharing. So what you're going to do is there's actually a flip grid for you on today's little page for you to go and share what your favorite part of your neighborhood is. So let me show you how to get there. Okay, so here we are in our journeys, page of the day. It says use your writer's notebook in this lesson and post your flip grid here. So you're going to click on it, and then it'll bring you to the link of the flip grid. All I have to do is click on this blue link, and it'll pop up to Flipgrid. It'll say join with Google. It's called Community Writing. Click on your name as usual, and there you go. Look, I had it in daytime and nighttime. Isn't that kind of cool? And then it says here, what is your favorite part of your neighborhood? Let us know what you wrote in the video below. So you can record your video here, and it's as if we were sharing in class. So make sure to post your video for your homework. Okay, first graders, now it's up to you to write about your neighborhood and film your flip grid. Don't forget your math homework in your shape packet. Let me show you your shape packet. Remember, it's shape packet number 2. So you're doing the last page in your shape packet. It'll be this one here, and it wants you to color by the sides that you have. So if it has 3 sides, color it blue. We only know there's one shape with 3 sides, right? If it has 4 sides, there's more of those shapes, color it red. If it has 5 sides, which is a pentagon, we haven't been talking about that much in class because we don't have that, the block for that shape. But if you want to know more about the pentagon, that's why it's in here. And then if it has 6 sides, hexagon, color it yellow. Hey, just like the block. That's fun. That's your homework tonight. Make sure to send me pictures so that you can earn that homework pass. There's only a few more days of math homework, and next week, since it's the end of November, that'll be the end, and you can see if you have earned a homework pass. So tell your parents to make sure they send me those pictures. Have a wonderful day. I won't see you tomorrow, but I will see you on Monday. So see you then. Bye.